I have everything set in terms of the ideas and the plans. I just need to put it together and get it going once these new consoles are about to roll out in a few weeks. Yep.
I mean, I recommend a spiked bat, and you can swing it pretty hard. Then somewhere in a Target parking lot, you should be good.
Yes,
Oh.
yeah.
That sounds like
The Lucille.
Follow some people. Yeah.
It's called planning.
Yeah.
Wow, give me that box. No, I enjoyed the previous work that you did, so I look forward to seeing the new videos that you produce.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm pumped. I have just a lot of ideas, and I just want to get them out at this point since it's I've been holding on to them for a while.
All right, it's Wednesday, September the 16th. This is GameEnthus podcast episode 417. I'm Aaron, one of the hosts here. Mike is also here.
I have returned, having missed at least one show.
Yeah, it's been a while. You sound like you've grown as an individual and a human being.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
I have no idea what that means, but
completely disagree, but I like the sound of it anyway.
Good. Tiny should be here soon. Hopefully, we shall see. Hopefully, he will. He will be here shortly. But we have a guest this week. We have Brad joining us once again to talk about all the latest and greatest in the world of gaming, and as a surprise to him, the world of sewing and knitting. We kind of changed the format of the show, so we broadened the scope. So hopefully that's okay.
Teach me something because I'm terrible at both. So
okay, well, you know what? Admitting the problem is how you start. That's room for growth. So
yeah.
So Brad, it's been a while since you've been on the show. What has been going on with you as of late?
Just trying to plan stuff out for these new consoles as life is taking such a wild turn this year as it has for pretty much everyone. So yeah, just trying to do that. I am planning new videos. I'm trying to get videos out that are reviews for some current gen games, and then use that as a stepping stone or a transition into the next gen once that starts in November. So that's my plan. I'm trying to really just push things out and get these videos out because I really wanted to for a long time, but just life has just been so crazy these past almost 2 years now for me personally. But yeah, I just want to get that out and just get things going because I have a lot of ideas, but I just don't have didn't have the time before, but I want to make sure that I get everything set so that once things get a little bit busier than they are now, I can still push stuff through. So that's my main goal. So I have everything set in terms of the ideas and the plans. I just need to put it together and get it going once these new consoles are about to roll out in a few weeks. Yep.
I mean, I recommend a spiked bat, and you can swing it pretty hard. Then somewhere in a Target parking lot, you should be good.
Yes, yeah.
That sounds like
the Lucille.
Follow some people. Yeah.
It's called planning.
Yeah.
Wow, give me that box. No, I enjoyed the previous work that you did, so I look forward to seeing the new videos that you produce.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm pumped. I have just a lot of ideas, and I just want to get them out at this point since it's I've been holding on to them for a while. Yeah.
And I don't want to steal the thunder of what we'll talk about maybe a little bit later, but kind of for both consoles, you could technically review it for the current gen, and you're kind of reviewing it for the next gen.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm being honest.
If you have the 4K mid-cycle consoles, yeah.
Yeah, so two birds, one stone. It's like
exactly. Yeah.
This is the Series X and the S review. At the same time.
Yeah.
Just saying. So
yeah, just go into settings and lower it a bit in that Series S.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah, two versus one storm.
I mean, can we assume that loading time, you get the other perks of the new hardware, even if the resolution isn't being bumped up, or can we not? I don't know. Can we make that assumption?
Based on what they're saying, it seems to be true. Like you'll get the loading times. It's just textures and resolution will be different. So yeah, it's interesting. We'll see how it works. We'll I guess talk about it more. But yeah, it's unique, very unique for the start of the gen.
Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah.
There's always some those late summer fall games that kind of either have two releases or hey, if you buy one, you can upgrade to the next. But this is different.
Yeah. Buy one in your set pretty much for whatever you have. Yeah.
This is like you call your
As long
friend.
as it's within the same company line. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that this, I keep talking about stuff we'll talk about, but that $69.99 is in our future.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Sony confirmed that for their first party titles apparently. So yeah,
first and third.
This is where the loss of GCU hurts even more.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mine ran out, and that 20% was nice.
Yeah. I got so used to that. I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, the Gamers Club Unlocked that Best Buy used to have, which originally debuted at an exorbitant price of like $120 or something.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And then what was it at the end? Like $30 for a year?
Yeah, about $30.
Something like that. Yeah. So it's like for $30 for a year, you get 20% off of every game.
Yep.
Pre-release, existing release. Strangely enough, used games were only 10%
off for you. Yep.
But I never bought a used game from Best Buy. That seemed
I feel like I bought maybe like 2 used games from Best Buy.
What's the plan? It's like, why even do it if you're getting 20% off the new? Like, it seemed like it would be close to the same price as the used. Almost.
Yeah.
Like their used game bin was always like, what are these weird yellow cases?
Yeah, they were not. They were bad.
They look strange, and this is an odd.
Definitely stick out on a bookshelf.
Sure,
just a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Those aren't things that I'm not really a stickler for that kind of uniformity on the shelf.
Yeah,
but I know some people that like, how dare new Mario Brothers have a red box?
No greatest hits boxes in my house. You can toss those out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is that platinum? Is that platinum hits?
I'm good with anything that's official, but when it's straight bootleg, like broken blockbuster garbage case or whatever, I'm like, I'll accept it, but I will pay like it's a loose disc.
Okay.
Yeah. You gotta have standards. I mean, without standards, what are we here for? Principles.
So. Yeah, do like 80s EA games, put them in a Ziploc, and just stick them in.
Right? Yeah. There was one.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything handy, but there was definitely one. I thought it was Blockbuster, but it may have been something else where it was like
it was game crazy.
Oh,
I don't know. That's just the guess.
But there was one definitely where the cases were all like, oh, it's a case for a disc. But there's also a really weird slot for like a GBA cartridge.
Oh, so like one size fits all kind of deal. Yeah.
Because I like DS cases all had that for a while, which was also like.
Was that like an early? That was a GameCube thing then.
Or maybe it was GameCube. Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it was official. I don't even know. Like, see, I'm so old now that I don't even remember what is real and what's fabricated in my mind when it comes to game history stuff.
It's all fabricated.
And other things too. I mean, I don't want to discount that.
There never was a Karnov arcade game. They just made that up.
Oh yeah, that's fake. That's totally
it's just a Nintendo game. Yeah. So
that's anyway, Polybius. Yep.
We'll get more into that stuff. So I see you have a wild job here on the outline. What's going on with the JO? If you don't, if you're comfortable sharing some of that stuff.
Oh, job stuff?
Yeah.
So far, my new job's been okay. It's just what happened at my old job has been, wild. And it was very on the spot. It happened on a Monday. It was, a Monday. It was a little bit after after my birthday, which was, crazy. But it was on the spot. And then, I was searching and I had some good opportunities. And then that's when COVID pretty much hit. And then all those opportunities just went away. So it was like getting like double whammy. And I was fortunate to find a job out a little bit. I want to say it was like 2 or 3 weeks after COVID like really hit and caused things to close down. But it was just wild. Like I was mentally just out of it because I just couldn't believe it at the time. Like I get cut on a day, that I didn't get any warning. I just go in and they cut me. And then once I get 2 really good opportunities, both of those opportunities
just
go away due to COVID and them not knowing, where things will be headed due to the impact of COVID. And so I just had to plug in even more. And due to things being remote now, for the most part, I was able to get a job outside of where I live, which is nice. But yeah, it's just been kind of weird because I've been learning stuff, without anybody next to me or behind me, which is different from what I've been used to for all my previous jobs. So yeah, it's been a strange transition, but so far things have been good. So we'll see how things continue to play out.
Well, I'm certainly glad that you're in a better space.
Yeah,
that's rough. I mean, for you and everybody, it's just that's jarring. And then New York State, New York City the numbers were so bad,
exactly.
earlier on.
Yeah,
but obviously the state has
has
improved
complete
vastly.
180 almost. Yeah.
I'm from Buffalo, so my parents like, we're going to you want to eat what? In a restaurant? Like, should you be doing this?
It is. Yeah, exactly. It's a mix because here in Buffalo, it's not bad at all, like the rates, especially compared to other locations. But you still have to, take certain precautions.
As well, you should.
You never know what can happen. Like I was really worried about how this month would go in the city due to schools starting. But then when they announced that, kids will still stay at home to do remote learning, I was like, okay, good.
Yeah.
So things shouldn't pick up that much. Like they have a little bit, but that's been due to mainly the college kids from other locations coming into Buffalo. And but outside of that, it's been pretty good, to be honest. It's been like under 1.5%, I believe.
Oh wow.
For the positive rate, yeah.
So you be like Buster? Everybody was like, "Hey, everybody, just come back to school."
Yeah, and that surprised me. Like they, there's precautions. Like they added certain measures, but I mean the students were still going in. Yeah, and that surprised me.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is my oldest senior year at Ithaca, and at first she was like, "Well, I guess I just won't be an RA," because they were doing some funny stuff. Only people from New York State can be RAs, yada yada. So then they were just like, "Nah, just stay home." So
okay, yeah.
So she's
and I don't know, what the mix is between remote classes and ones that are
there should be
in
mix.
person or not. But I do know that students did move in during late August and early September. So yeah, I don't know. No, I don't know anybody that's still in college. So yeah, I don't know how it works out, but I was worried that the rates would go up this month due to school starting, but so far it's been pretty okay.
Yeah, because when she thought she was going to go back, they were like, "Well, Maryland is now on the list." I guess Maryland had just made it onto the list.
That
then
was
like,
a
we
weird
don't know.
moment because there was really nothing about the state of Maryland that indicated that it needed to be put on that list.
I thought it was odd as well,
but maybe there's some way of looking at it that I've overlooked. But like the positivity rate is very low compared to most states.
Yeah.
It seems like in general the state of Maryland is doing pretty well compared to other states in the United States. But I don't know. It's such a complicated issue because obviously younger people, the expectation is you can wait it out. At some point this will be done with, whether it takes 6 more months or 5 more years. But in the case of, say, my parents, I'm starting to get to the point where it's like, if I stay away from them until this is over, I may never really see them again. That is
a real concern.
I'm not saying that means throw every precaution to the wind and blah blah blah, but it's something you need to like factor into your thinking, and it's become stranger than I ever thought it was going to be.
And I guess it's sort of a, if you decide collectively, like, hey, we're okay taking this risk, then amongst each other and not no, I get it, and I like that makes total sense. But for someone like me who I never stopped dealing with the public in one way or the other. I mean, I'm wearing my mask. Almost all of my interactions are outside. That's good.
I'm trying to be careful, but that doesn't mean I'm impervious or I'm perfect and that I'm 100% good on whatever. I mean, even situations that, you know, people who have been quarantining pretty religiously still come down with the COVID-19, and that's the part that seems so scary to me, because it's like you can be incredibly not careful and never get it, or never feel like you got it. You know, maybe you did and you didn't, or you can be as strict as possible and still get it anyway.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, man, this is, I wish it was more cut and dry and it made perfect sense. And it was just like, if you're careful, you're good. If you're an idiot, you're going to die. Like, it would just make sense.
Yeah, but
life has never been. That's not the way it works. So,
quite that cut and dry. Yeah, I'm thinking about like holiday times. It's just like,
especially now, because it's, you know, getting into October.
I'd like to see my parents.
Yeah.
I mean, we Zoom with them every week and everything, but like, I'd like, you know, I want to spend time with my family. So
yeah.
But now that we've gotten all serious, it's going to be hard to transition into goofy stuff.
Segue. No.
Is there anything else you wanted to share, Brad, that you just been up to the last since we've spoken?
Or I haven't been doing anything too new, to be honest. Yeah, it's been pretty much the same outside of the job stuff. Just playing games and, you know, trying to stay safe, as we talked about earlier. Been playing a lot of Tony Hawk, which I like a lot. I grew up on those games, so yeah, I've been loving the new one. Been playing it a whole lot. It's weird in the sense that it has the moves of Tony Hawk 4, but you got the levels of Tony Hawk 1 and 2. So just getting my mind used to that, because, you know, the levels are from the Tony Hawk games where you didn't have moves like manual or reverts, and just getting used to that in those levels has been kind of weird for me, because I'm not used to doing long combo lines, because back then you didn't have those moves. So it's been it's been fun, but it's also been pretty different than what I expected it to be, since I thought I could go in there and just kill it like I did in the old Tony Hawk games. But I've had to, you know, kind of learn some new things, you know, to get used to the way the levels are with the new moves to be good online. So it's fun. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorite games this year, definitely.
And also, I want to say I'm happy. I'm really happy for folks like you that can, like, you know, recapture some youth, or just go back and really be excited about this. I'm super happy that this turned out really well, because that, to be honest, Tony Hawk HD was crap.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Don't even. It still makes me mad that they called that Tony Hawk 5, because it's just like it doesn't deserve that name whatsoever. Right. Yeah.
It was that one, a lot of it, the HD one they tried.
Like HD. Yeah. I mean, that was bad, but it wasn't 5. At least, you know, they kind of put some effort into HD.
You can't even buy 5 anymore, because it's not even on the game isn't even on the disc.
Okay, I didn't know that.
No, I'm exaggerating. I think like the title screen is on the disc.
I did do a little bit of research about this when they announced 1 and 2 remake. I think that's when it was. But the Xbox One and PS4 versions of Tony Hawk 5 are worthless coasters. They're trash. Like, there's nothing you can do with them.
Like Guitar Hero Live.
You find one, but
sort of
the 360 and the PS3 versions are still playable games. Now, playable in the sense of they will boot and you can move a character around on the screen. They're still not a good version of a bad game.
Yeah.
But like, at least they will run. And when that game came out, I, for one day, was fascinated by the terribleness of it, and the videos that came out of people sinking into the concrete and their faces like melting into the sun or whatever. I'm like, I kind of want to check this out just to see, you know, how nuts it can be. Like when people talk about pre-patched Assassin's Creed Unity, like being sucked into a black hole in the middle of the floor. I'm like, that's the version I want to play. I don't want to play the better version that's available right now. I want to see.
Even Unity wasn't a really good Assassin's Creed game, to be honest. Yeah. It was,
and the best part is, I don't want to buy or play that game. I just want to watch the YouTube videos of people and NPCs being sucked into a black hole in the floor.
They did patch all that stuff, though, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did.
They fixed it, yeah. Oh. And that's what I mean. When it was fixed, it wasn't that much of a great game. It was a forgettable Assassin's Creed, in my opinion.
I mean, if I recall correctly, that came out the same year. Maybe I'm wrong. Or I associate that and, I guess, New Mario Brothers U.
No,
I don't know why.
It was a little bit after.
Okay, but
yeah, it came out. It came out 2014. It was like it was the Assassin's Creed that came out after Black Flag, which was a launch title for the PS4 and
right.
Xbox
I don't know why I associated with a Mario game which you can play.
Yeah,
maybe it's 3D
Wii
World.
U came out 2 years before that. Yeah,
maybe it's 3D World that I'm thinking of that reminds me of, because I remember thinking, oh, co-op.
Oh,
and
you know what?
I got it, and I was like,
it was kind of around that time, I believe.
I'm thinking
3D World.
You can't start with the co-op. Like, you got to play 4 hours. I'm like, forget it. I'm never gonna see co-op then.
It's funny how that time in that period kind of blends in now. Like that has been a while. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it has been a pretty long time, 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, it's like 6 years ago. Yeah,
Wow. Yeah. I'm trying to. Yeah, it was. Mario 3D World was still like a new game during the time that Unity released. I don't know if it was, close to its release date though, but it was, still a new game.
Did they
I do remember playing it around that time.
Is the Wii U discontinued at this point? I'm assuming it is.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it is.
But they never announced it though. Yeah, did they announce it?
Yeah, I mean,
a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't have to because nobody really cared.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, the first,
should we announce this?
Nah,
good.
I want to say, and I don't want to put stats out like this because I don't have it in front of me, but I want to say like the first year of the Switch, like it did better than the Wii U overall.
I believe that is correct.
The Wii U overall, I think it only did like 15 million, 16 million, which is pitiful.
What if the name was
Nintendo Switch does that within 6 months?
Like what if the name was different? Did that have changed anything?
I don't think it would have helped. I mean, it would have. I'm pretty sure the sales would have been a little bit better because then people would have known it was a new system and not a Wii U accessory or a Wii accessory. But I don't think it would have helped that much because I mean, even if they had the marketing right, you still had like 3 to 4 month droughts of games pretty much every year, and it was just the only reason to get it was to have it alongside your PS4, your Xbox.
Mine's still plugged in.
You had to get another, or I should say, have another system to play those third-party multiplayer because they didn't come out on Wii U. It was just that first year, and then they faded out because the sales are so bad. Yeah.
Wait, Aaron, did you just say your Wii U is still being powered?
Let me look over if I can see that.
Like it's literally it's vamping electricity from your house.
Okay, it's not plugged in. I just unplugged it from the back. But
like it's still there, and you
could
use it. That's fine. Yeah. But if you for the last like 5 years have been the Switch came out 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So since the moment the Switch came out, you should have unplugged the Wii U from the power outlet. Like you leave it plugged into your like HDMI switch or your whatever you got. That's fine because that doesn't use power. But the power brick, like you're just throwing money away because it's not going to get turned on. Like mine's in a cardboard box waiting.
Okay.
I will plug my Wii U back in and use it again someday.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like that's a fact. That it may not come to fruition, but I am confident at some point in the future I will plug my Wii U back in to a high definition television and play something for some amount of time.
Or
I don't
turn
know
the
how
channel.
long.
No, I don't think that even works anymore.
Yeah, do they still have that on there, or did they take that out later?
I feel like they probably.
Don't remember.
I think they took that out, but I'm not sure.
I do remember using that just for like the
one
first,
time,
month or so. Yeah, just one time.
That TV thing.
It's kind of exactly.
Yeah, that's all gone. That's all in the trash. The weather thing and the Wii, which is actually a button. It's a button on the pad, right?
Yeah. It is a physical button.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
that
is right. I forgot about that.
I'm like 90% sure that is worthless now. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's crazy to cut a feature, that's like right on the gamepad itself. Like it's a button, and you still cut that because people didn't use it, and the sales of the system weren't just that bad.
It was crazy. I never used that.
Yeah.
Not one time. I may have pushed the button just to see what would happen, but no, that's not. No.
Yeah, it was pointless because it was like, why? Yeah,
they tried
pointless. Like I could use my phone if I want to look at stats, player stats.
It's probably cheaper than 2 HDMI ports, but what do I know?
But yeah, so, I will admit that mine is still plugged in.
To the power outlet?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
after all this, you finally admitted.
I know, and
I'm that guy.
I only use it for Nintendo 64 games, and that's it. Because all the Wii U games are on the Switch now.
But there's still a couple.
3D World's coming out next year, but but
the two Zelda remakes are still exclusive to the Switch.
I do have that. I have the digital code in the system, so that's still on there. But other than that, it's just Nintendo 64 games, and I do have Monster Adventure, and I do have a few GBA games. So yeah, I will say that. Like I do use it for a GBA player in a way. Yeah, but I mean, it's so funny. Like a system with all that stuff, like in that tablet accessory, I only use it to play.
I'm not going to judge you.
64 games.
Fun is fun, you know.
But like, true. Yeah.
I was like, I think it was. I was listening to the Player One podcast today, and the mention of the upcoming Hyrule Warriors the
prequel, whatever it's called.
The prequel to Breath of the Wild. And I was like, right. I do have the Hyrule Warriors version on the Wii U of, I have
the
first
3DS game.
And I bought it for the 3DS, but that was more like I should buy this because I bought a new 3DS and I need cartridges that actually do something. I've never even put it in.
I think mine's in the shrink wrap. I'm pretty sure it's in the shrink wrap.
Right. So, But I thought that was entertaining enough, and I was like, you know what? That came out for the Switch, and I could rebuy it and play it on the Switch, or I could just hook up my Wii U and play the version I already own. And that was my rationale with Mario Kart 8, because I never rebought that. I'm like, if I want to play it, I'll just play it on the Wii U.
To me, it's like I need that
portability, man. Like that would.
Well, it's worth buying if I want to play it online with anybody.
Okay.
If I don't care about that, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that is a big part, but it's just I feel like even port to me.
Just couch co-op, man. It's still.
But if I'm not going to do that, that's the whole thing. If that opportunity ever comes up, my wife's not going to play Mario Kart with me, right? That's just a fact. Because she don't care. And I'm not going to ask her to play with me. So if it's not the two of us, who's going to come to the house and sit on my couch right now and play
during
anything
COVID,
couch co-op?
He said during COVID.
Right? Yeah, right? Hey, who wants to buy a COVID version of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for me so you can play with me when I already own it on a system we could still do that on, but you're not going to come over and play anyway. That's like the whole thing of it, right?
Yeah.
It's like no one's coming over. We're not playing any couch co-op unless it's within the household anyway. And Mario Kart is just not that game.
Yeah, well,
I'm only a lukewarm Mario Kart guy in the first place.
I wish I knew this before, we started doing this podcast 10 years ago, because had I known, that would have changed everything.
When the original Super Mario Kart came out, a friend of mine and I played that to no end. Like, it just never ended. Like,
that was
the battle
fantastic
games. I mean,
that
Super
was a
Nintendo,
game.
it was, and that's why I have fond memories of that first game. And I get it. Okay. It's technically nowhere near as good as most of the rest of the
yes, it was a foundation games. Of which,
Yeah, you needed that foundation. Yeah. I still love that game. Yeah,
because of that connection, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about 64 because I just never played it.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't care about Double Dash because I never played it.
That's the most unique one they've made. That's
Double Dash.
7 was the first online one, and we played a little bit of that.
Okay, hear me out.
They ripped the servers out, and that was kind of neat.
If Sunshine is coming to Sunshine comes out Friday, pretty much. In
2 days.
The
2 days
All
from
Stars.
while we're talking. Yes.
Yeah, it comes out on Friday. And instead of Flood having, levels of granularity of how the water comes out, you just hit the trigger button and it just comes out. And then I think the ZR button is for when Mario runs. I'm hoping it'd be great if they could. They're never gonna do this, but they could put Double Dash on the Switch. I would love it. That would be so great. It's such a good game, but I know that the analog triggers on the GameCube, I don't think you can get away with not having that. I don't know how. Okay. I'm not sure how they would.
It's been so long since I've played Double Dash on GameCube.
It's so good. It is so good.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good game, and that's like one of the things that I liked that they did for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was bringing the double items, because that's like the main thing I remembered about Double Dash was just that and how useful that was.
Yeah,
exactly. And switching, yeah.
I used to play it with my oldest. She couldn't really play it, so she would just throw the items out, and I'd do the racing, and we.
Okay, and you, yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, even that, like that's good. And I mean, to have something like that back then, when gaming wasn't really, it was getting accessible, but it wasn't, like it is today.
No,
you have so many accessories and so many modes that you can play with younger ones or just people that don't understand controls. Like having that, that was really good, because as you said, you could have somebody else and they could just be the one to toss the items, and that a 2-year-old could do that. Be that. You don't have to do the thing that I think we all do, where you like kind of give the 2-year-old cousin the controller that's unplugged.
Oh, the broken one.
Yeah. They think they're playing the game with you. Yeah, I used to do that.
Until they realize, like, wait a minute.
They get older and it's like, you know what?
This doesn't.
Now I'm gonna beat you because you did that to me.
This doesn't go in there.
So I have a mini anecdote.
Sure.
Because I spun my little media rack over until I found my Mario Kart Double Dash game.
Okay.
And I opened it up because my memory was I bought this used from Blockbuster, but that's completely untrue, because inside of the case is you can hear that? A printed out Goozex.
Nice.
Paper. So the bottom is torn off and that's attached to the label, but the top is you've got a game from Goozex, Mario Kart Double Dash, 300 points. Now, 300 points in Goozex money was like 30 bucks.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
There's a handwritten note on this from Goozex username Holy Sorcerer. Hope you enjoy the game. If you want to play online, check out a program called quote unquote Warp Pipe.
Yeah, man.
So I don't know what that means in 2020, but that is what I have, and that is my piece of gaming history.
Yeah.
That means nothing to probably anybody else.
I joined the Warp Pipe Discord like maybe 5-6 months ago, and people are still on there talking about it. It's basically people, you can still use Xbox Connect, stuff like that. So it's just tunneling. So you can play Double Dash,
I have played
1080
a
Avalanche.
couple of games on XBconnect. Yes.
Yeah.
We're talking like 20 years ago, but yeah.
Excellent.
Well, not 20.
I did it on the PSP. I thought that was like magic.
No, it's not 20 years ago, because that was before Xbox came out.
15 years ago.
Yeah, when would that have been?
About 15 years ago. 2005-ish. Yeah.
It may have been before they disconnected Xbox Live for the original Xbox, because obviously the facts bear out that the original Halo was not an online game. You needed to tunnel in if you wanted to play it online.
I
off
graduated
Xbox Live
from college, and my friend Travis, who was still at Lincoln, finishing up his last year. I remember everybody got Xboxes and we're tunneling in the dorms. I'm like, of course, after I go, all this stuff is here. I'm like, I'm sitting at home like playing Melee like by myself. I'm like, this is fun. And it was fun, but it's not the same.
Yeah, not the same. It's not the same thing. Yeah.
Although we did used to play GTA 1 or 2 on PC. Using the LAN connection for the multiplayer that was on there. You just drive around. And,
the overhead GTA.
Yes, the old GTA.
Yeah, 1 and 2. Yeah.
I love there was an editor for the PC version of Grand Theft Auto where you could adjust the physics of any vehicle in the game that you wanted to.
Nice.
So a friend of mine and I, we would select something like the school bus and say, all right, we're gonna change it so that the thing weighs as much as a paperclip, but it has the power of the Apollo 9 rocket. So as soon, like, if you hit the button to enter the school bus, it would flip out and send you to the other side of a continent, and the thing would explode in the middle of the ocean without you ever even touching the accelerator, because it was that, like, out of this world. That is Grand Theft Auto to me, the original game. Other than I never played it for real. Like answering phones and pick up this telephone and he says go murder somebody, and I don't care about
played
that.
some of it and I just kind of got bored. Like I don't feel like driving anymore. I'm like, I'm good.
Right. Yeah. It was all about editing the cars and just turning things into insane, motorcycles, whatever. It was all it's crazy. It was a crazy game for the day.
All right, well, since you're sharing anecdote, you have any more anecdotes you want to share with us, Mike?
I mean, I didn't put anything down because I'm like, I don't know, like, whatever. Life is so weird these days. Like,
indeed,
I don't know. Like, we already touched on it, but like, I don't. We're just trying to navigate through this whole thing and come out on the other side like happy and healthy. I don't know.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. There's no promises. There's no guarantees in life. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Other than it ending. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Death and taxes and inconsistency.
Death, taxes, and the inevitable change of the McDonald's breakfast menu. Just.
and the angry protests with people threatening death upon McDonald's employees because they can't get what they want, or they can't get it when they want it, or something like that. Yeah.
Imagine people, threatening someone's life or health because they can't get what they want.
Like,
oh boy.
Your health and safety is affecting my comfort. So I will.
Such a lack of empathy. It's crazy.
A complete,
an extreme lack of empathy.
The people like that, they open doors or like, wave to say hi, or the common courtesy. Is that like, I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, I feel like I should say, after over a decade of this, I hope when I joke about something like this, it comes across in the way that I mean it, which is to say, this is so preposterous that I'm laughing at how ridiculous it is, not at the concept of somebody feeling safe in their job. Like, I don't know. Things can be misconstrued in such bizarre ways. So I'm like, yeah, I only laugh at things that are that shouldn't be laughed at because of the insanity of it. It's
yeah, I get you.
I feel like I have to say that because people don't understand.
Yeah, you just blown away that you can't do anything else but to laugh, really, because it's just like, what in the world? Yeah, I just don't get it.
Why should you just be upset all the time? Which
I'm
not going to say that doesn't happen.
Oh, that happens too. But there's levels where I'm laughing at things that are like, that's not funny. There's nothing funny about this. But the concept of somebody being so out of touch that they think it's okay. I laugh at that.
Yeah.
And even that's probably not appropriate sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, some cases it's not, but I totally get you because, I'm not laughing because I find it, like hilarious. I'm laughing because I'm just like, how in the world can you?
How do we get here?
Think this way? It's just
that's at 100%. It's like I'm not laughing at what you did. I'm laughing at you because you thought it was okay to do that.
Yeah,
and not just like one person, a large group of people.
Yeah, sure.
That it's okay.
Yeah. So anyway, whatever. I don't know if I even. Yeah, whatever. Aaron, what's a Shelf-a-pa-luza?
I did see that.
Shelf-a-pa-luza. So there's a website called Girls Game Shelf, and a woman who runs it, Anna Maria, she asked me on Facebook or Twitter, like, hey, we're doing it's one of the many online conventions or events where people could sign up to play a wide variety of board games online. So she asked me if I wanted to be involved. I was like, yeah, sure. And I ran a game of Cartographers, which is one that we also played when we did the Extra Life Marathon a couple of weeks ago. I played that on last Friday. I was losing for most of the game, and I was very surprised at the end I won because normally I don't. And the people I played with, they've all played the game before, so they knew what they were doing. But it was fun. So it's so
Shelf-a-pa-luza, like the name is like games on your shelf, pull them down, we'll play a game.
It's actually like a portmanteau of Girls Game Shelf and then another group called Lulapalooza. So this kind of smushed them together and then Shelf-a-pa-luza. So it was a lot of fun, and it's one of several online convention type events that I've either just been a participant in, not just joining someone else's thing. First time I'm hosted something for one, so it was cool. I had a good time. I played a good time. The first online convention thing way earlier this year, I was like, I don't know what this is, but as more and more happened, I get it more. Like now people are more organized where, you go to Eventbrite, you sign up for something, they send you the Discord, they have everything there for you to figure it out. Even PAX Online. I've done a couple interviews with PAX Online, same kind of thing. You schedule an interview, just like if I was going to the actual show. There's a Discord, they have a demo running up there, they just share their screen, you ask your questions, and it works similarly, but you're just not in the same physical space. So it's working as well as it possibly could. So
yeah, what else can you say? But do what you can do.
Yeah, use what you got, because we're not going to be going to conventions anytime soon.
Yeah.
Man, that bums me out. Yeah,
it is unfortunate. I do miss them. I mean, Mike, they just officially canceled MAGfest, right?
Very recently, and it makes sense.
Oh, yeah,
definitely. And apparently their request for, they called it a telethon, but it was, they needed some support, some financial support to stay in business, and they were overwhelmed as far as I can tell.
That's good, because I'd hate to see it go away because it's such a good event,
Yeah, definitely. It's like if everything works out where, January 2022, they can come back.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we're in a position where everybody will be happy to do that. I don't know that we will necessarily.
Or, it turns into people hunting down people who claim to not have gotten the vaccine yet. Who knows? I don't know how this will be.
That's
a whole other thing that we have to contend with. You have it? It's like, whoa. So, happy thoughts. Happy
I'm
thoughts.
already envisioning people carrying cards that say, I am, COVID vaccine certified. Like, oh my God, this is going to...
And then the obligatory business selling, bootleg cards saying that I am COVID vaccinated.
Yeah. There's this whole new avenue of problems that are right around the corner.
Yipper.
Yeah.
More happy thoughts, right?
Hey, let's all be happy.
Yeah. Well, let's do some happy stuff. Brad, what games you been playing? What have you been enjoying?
Well, said Tony Hawk, like I said earlier, been playing Fall Guys too.
Can I ask you one question about Fall Guys? Can I just say one thing about Tony Hawk? I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure I've never played any Tony Hawk game correctly. I've enjoyed 1 through 3, but I never really I learned how to do cool stuff when I get in the air. I never really learned. That's
one thing I was gonna mention earlier, and not to step on what you're saying, Aaron, but the only Tony Hawk that I've ever played, ever,
really,
was a demo disc that was stapled to my Pizza Hut pizza.
Okay, the first one then. Yep.
Yeah, the first game, one level. Yeah. That's it. That's all I've ever done. I
was like, this is fun.
Warehouse. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people got into the game. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing because just the way that they were able to build that up, and it was a coincidence that was during the same year that Tony Hawk pulled the 900 spin move. You know, he did that for the first time during the X Games, and that in itself was like almost marketing for the game. And Tony Hawk, you know, he didn't plan that at all. He was just like, I want to do this, you know, even regardless of the game.
I did watch that video, so I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And 1999 was just such a big year for him, and then series just, you know, kept getting bigger and bigger after that, you know, for a good 4 years or so. Then it started fading away, and then it completely went away once EA Skate came out and crushed it in terms of just how you play the game and its controls.
It was so different, though. I mean,
yeah, it was different. It was more sim. It wasn't pick up and play like Tony Hawk was, but it was just at that time people wanted something different because, that was 8 years of Tony Hawk.
Yeah, it was too many. I mean, by the time you got to American Wasteland, I was like, what is this?
Exactly. Yeah. I American Wasteland was the one that I believe that came out after Tony Hawk Underground 2.
Yeah,
and Tony Hawk Underground 2 was when I backed out the series. I was like, this is, you know, getting kind of too crazy. Like it felt more like MTV Jackass skateboarding because you had Bam Margera. He was like the main character in that game. Didn't really even feel like Tony Hawk, even though he was in it. But yeah, that was the point where I said, you know, this is kind of becoming too much, and I backed out. And then I played Skate about 2 years later, and blew me away. And I was a big fan of that. And then that went away, and now we're back to Tony Hawk.
Back to Tony Hawk.
Yeah. 2 to 3 years later, that's probably when Skate 4 is going to come out, since EA confirmed that earlier this year. It was just funny how it's just a cycle.
We don't like this anymore. I mean, and then we want it back.
Yeah, so. And then we want it back. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The one thing that's not coming back is plastic instruments and stuff. Because remember, I can't be the only one who stood in the big lots holding the box for Tony Hawk Ride going, will I actually play this? And I never bought it. I came really close. I was like, the amount of space it takes up for me not to play it. That's going to stay on the shelf.
I never tried that. I would like to try it because I think it reminded me of, I don't know if you guys played that arcade game. I think it's called like Top Skater or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I've seen it. I never played it.
Okay. I played that. I was like, you know, I would like to, you know, have like an experience like that similar to that at home, but I never got it. Yeah, and I especially, you know, didn't get it once I read all the reviews. I was like, okay, I'm not touching this.
It was pretty much broken. Like it wouldn't register when you were trying.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I read. Yeah, back then.
Skate, it's pretty much busted. But I always thought like they had just melted down, you know, unused and unsold Guitar Hero stuff to make that crap anyway.
Yeah, so it's possible.
So I interrupted you. You were going on to something else. I was just sharing.
I was just going to talk about Fall Guys. I like Fall Guys a lot. It's a fun game. I grew up watching MXC and those other like kind of wipeout shows where you climb obstacles. American Gladiators is another good example, I guess you could say, even though that was more serious instead of goofy.
What was the serious though? What was it? Serious?
They presented it that way, but I mean, even that was cheesy when it was on. To be honest, I mean, because I remember watching. I was young, but I used to watch it with my dad, and even then, I was like, this is kind of over the top. what I was really into was Guts, which was kind of like the kids version of American Gladiators, because that was that was cool. They made that seem like really over the top. All American Gladiators was kind of, it was physical, but you also had that kind of cheesy Baywatch stuff going on with the gladiators and how they would pose and stuff. Yeah, but I like those types of shows, so having a game that kind of fits that area in terms of mini games is fun. I came really close to winning. I've never won, even though I played probably, it has to be close to 100 matches of Fall Guys. I've never won yet.
You will eventually.
I've come in second about 10 times, but I never won.
That's frustrating because
frustrating.
Yeah.
Yep.
You want to win. It's funny. Have you ever seen the show? So you mentioned these old game shows. There's a Netflix show called The Floor Is Lava. Have you ever seen that?
Yes, I have watched that. Yeah.
We watched that this summer. It's so dumb, but it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. Yeah, but it's fun. Like I thought, the concept would get kind of old to me within the second episode, but I mean, just the personalities of everybody and how they go about the navigation of the rooms differently, like that makes it enjoyable
or just
and entertaining to watch. So
making inexplicable decisions. Like why would you jump at this weird angle to a wet table? Like what are you doing?
Yeah,
I can't believe I lost.
You're gonna slip. You're gonna slip and fall. Yeah, I went through about 5-6 episodes. In one setting. Yeah, because I was like, this is pretty good. Yeah. I do enjoy that show. I should probably go back. I didn't watch all the episodes. I believe, how many they put up? Like 8? Was it 8
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I didn't watch them all. I know I have a few left, but I watched the majority.
And I feel like it's called actually Floor is Lava. I don't think there's an article. I think it's just Floor, not the Floor is Lava.
Okay.
Just Floor
I know what
story
you're talking about though. Yeah.
Why is it? Why couldn't they have the? What is it? So it appears like higher up in the alphabet, like.
Maybe. Well, you know what? Now I'm thinking about maybe that's like kind of tied to like the way you go into Netflix and search for something. There has to be like a ton of does.
True.
So at least with Floor is Lava, that's like the only one that sticks out.
That's true.
When you go to F.
I think about that.
So maybe that played a role. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. If it's called just Floor is Lava instead of The Floor is Lava. Yeah, I'm not sure though. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with what you said.
Search algorithms.
We got to get rid of that article. Kill it, Tom. So, all right, what else you been playing?
Fall Guys. We talked about Mario Kart 8, and I've been playing that lately. Just random matches online when I feel like it. Just easy to go in and out during like halftime of NBA games. Play like a race or two, and that's pretty much been it. I've been wanting to get back into Ghost of Tsushima, which I enjoyed it a lot. I just haven't had time to really like dig into it because games like that, I want to just sit down and play for like a good 2-3 hours at a time. Like, I'm not the type to go into single player games and pop in like 30 minutes and then back out and then go back in 30 minutes. I don't like doing that for single player games like that. So yeah, I probably will play more of it this weekend.
I've not played it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's really good. It's and this is the thing that has caused some people not to like the game, but it caused me to like the game, is that it's linear. Like it's open world, but it's not like immense in which you have like just a ton of stuff to do.
That's a perk.
And a ton of objectives.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's really focused, and I want a game like that because I've played too many games this gen that have been just so large and open that it's just like it just becomes too much after a while.
90 hours of content.
Exactly. It's like I don't need that much. Yeah, just give me a good like 20 hours or so, and I'm good.
Yeah, bullet point on the back of the box. If it says 90 hours, it's just like, oh no, this is going right back.
That's how you unsell it.
Yeah, for certain people, yeah, definitely. Yeah, just have too much stuff going on in our lives to put that much time. Yeah.
Although we are home a lot, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, now.
Ironically,
but still, it's like just sitting down for that long when you could be doing other things.
Exactly. Even if you are home,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much been it in terms of games. Just playing certain games and then trying to get through them before or the new consoles arrive, because I want to focus on the new games to come out alongside those new consoles. But
well, I mean, to be fair,
I don't have a rush. Like it's not a real rush because they're backwards compatible.
I was gonna say, like,
okay, yeah. It's not like last gen. Last gen, you had to complete those games if you're going to sell your PS3 or your 360. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't sell
for
the
money
one
for the new consoles.
My girls they still play Just Dance a lot. And I like to pop on some Connect games every now and then. So I'm gonna keep my one.
Yeah, I've never been a kind of person that's gonna sell off an old thing unless the new one 100% like overlaps, and then I'm losing nothing. I never want to just say I have the ability to play these games. I'm going to throw that ability away by selling or giving or throwing away a piece of hardware.
Yeah,
I did that back in the day. Or I gave my cousin like all these, like, oh, I have an N64 now, so here's my Super Nintendo and all these games. And like, you know, you fast forward like, 20 years later, it's like, you still have those games?
Yeah,
you want to play those? She did. She gave them all back, and I was like, "You kept these?" She's like, "Yeah."
Oh, wow.
I was like,
"Yeah, that's nice."
You're like, "Yeah, I never used them either."
It's like Secret of Mana. You have this?
I still want my Super Nintendo games. I can never sell those, so they're just too much a part of my childhood nostalgia. Yeah, like even though like pretty much like 80% of the games that I have for my Super Nintendo are on the Switch. Like I still there's something about putting that cartridge in and sticking it in.
Yeah,
and playing
if you've had it this whole time,
you need that experience.
100%. Yeah.
Keep it. Yeah.
Yep.
Made the right decision.
Yeah.
All right. And I see you have PGA 2K20. There's a
2K
makes a golf game.
It's funny because it was originally the golf club, and then 2K brought them in. Yeah, they had a partnership because 2K didn't have a golf game, so they were able to get like a partnership going, and 2K put their marketing money into the golf club to make this game.
Okay.
So I believe it's the fourth like golf club, like Golf Club 4, but it's called PGA 2K21. It's really good. I like it a whole lot. I haven't played it in about 2 weeks though, but it's good.
Can you play as VJ
a good game
Singh?
To just relax and chill out.
Can you play as VJ Singh? Because if you can't, I'm not buying it.
Oh, and one of the big reasons as to why they partnered up with 2K was to add real golfers into the game. So so I'm pretty sure like they have pretty much any you can name are in there.
Is Happy Gilmore in there? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. The cheat code.
That's what you know is you know they're desperate when Happy Gilmore is the cover artist, the cover athlete for the game. We got to sell some copies of this thing.
And they got Bob Barker in the corner. So.
The price is wrong.
Right. It's a brilliant move.
It's funny, like the PS5
serious
version.
Golfing.
PS5 version, $70, and you have Bob Barker with a little quote underneath him saying the price is wrong. Is that a quote in game, or are you talking about the next gen prices?
$70 is wrong.
I do. That's the kind of thing I think the clip art could be amazing. It could be like something that was like Windows 95 quality picture of Bob Barker with some, Times New Roman font text. The price is wrong, and it's like, wait a minute, but you're still asking $70
for this game.
Like, what? What does that even mean? Are you trying to meta me 360 degrees around the planet, and then I come back around and go, you know what? I'll give you the money just because.
Okay, I'm going to channel my inner Tiny. We make fun of Tiny for being the quote unquote corporate apologist all the time. I mean, if you recall, 2 generations ago, we went from $49.99 being the base to $59.99.
Yeah.
And that was a while ago. So I don't like it. It's just everything else has gone up in price.
Exactly. Yeah, immensely. I mean, to be honest, I don't even like saying this because it feels like I have maybe somebody from Activision or EA behind my back listening in.
Let me see.
But to be honest, I'm gonna whisper this. To be honest, games should probably be $100 based on inflation.
Well,
how can you disagree with? I mean,
everything else has gone up exponentially.
I'm not.
I hate saying that, but it's like, come on. Like I don't like saying that at all. But I mean, just
theoretically,
and then when you look at the budgets of these games, like how much they're putting into these games.
Yeah.
Like if games were 100, but they didn't have DLC or any microtransactions,
that would be a little more consistent.
It would be kind of reasonable.
I would put it this way: if whatever a game launched at, if it never, no matter what happened, if it never dropped in price,
a Nintendo game, yeah,
from the dollar figure that it launched at, I would definitely own less games.
Yeah.
But I would be less reticent to pay full price for a game. Because it's like, okay,
the few you would buy,
whatever it comes out, let's say, your annual release, a Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, a Madden, whatever it is. You go, it comes out, they ask $60, 6 months later, it's $20. And then, especially sports games, once the next one comes out, it's like $8.99. It's like, okay,
3 weeks after it comes out, essentially.
Well, I mean, there's different factors depending on what it is and what it compares to, right? So, like this year's version of a sports game, full value, 2/3 value. Next game comes out, it's basically free. Yeah. So if you care nothing about rosters and being up to date and current and everything, go buy a 5-year-old version of Madden. They'll throw it at you. You say, I'll take this. They'll be like, you want to give us money? No?
Exactly.
Then just walk out the store with it. Who cares? Get it out of the building because it's taking up space.
Yeah, it costs them more money to keep it on their shelf than for you to buy it.
Yeah. And what could they possibly ask? $5 maximum? There's no money to be made. Really.
Then the online servers are more likely gone from the game, so you can't play online against people.
As long as the game still works and you can...
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If you just want a football game, you don't care about rosters, really.
That's where I look at these disc-free versions of the upcoming generation, and it's like you're just not only you're cutting off your own opportunities, but you're reducing the likelihood by way of further limited numbers of physical versions of any of the games that are coming out. You're hurting other people that want those physical versions. Somebody like me, I'll stick with that until the end, because as much as I say $100 is an insane premium for a disc drive, I will still pay that extra $100 on a PS5 so that my options are not limited.
Yeah. The disc drive itself definitely isn't 100 itself. It's not like they took that out and it's like, okay, we could sell this for 100 less. Like Sony is just looking at the fact that, okay, if we take out the disc drive, then you have no option but to give us money for our games. You're not going through
they want to steer you into that
or use
scenario.
Use gaming store.
On the flip side, and I'm sure they won't actually do this, but if Sony and Microsoft both came out and said, hey, our lower cost versions for the upcoming generation, the digital PS5 and the Xbox One Xbox Series X, if you could buy an external Blu-ray drive and hook that up via USB, and it worked on both consoles, and we'll let you load the game because it's just a check to make sure that it's a viable license.
Because
you're still installing it to the hard drive. If they said that's cool, totally changing my mind. I would definitely buy the digital version of the PS5. I'd probably still buy the Series X because
hard drive space.
You still get hardware benefits. versus the Series S. So that's kind of built in because I do have the 4K TV, and I assume forward,
you got to go X then if you have 4K TV. Yeah,
I kind of like you should do it even if you don't.
Yeah, you future-proof.
Buy the better version.
Yeah, because whatever TV you're going to get is going to be 4K.
Yeah.
So
sure. Otherwise,
and I'm talking about myself because I don't have a 4K TV. But the next TV that
you should take care of it.
I mean, any TV that's above 32 inches is 4K. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable. Yeah.
That's kind of like how I'm looking at it, because it's like it's the only, like with the PlayStation 5, the only difference at all is the form factor and the disc drive itself. $100 is a lot of money for a disc drive.
Yeah.
If the onboard storage is identical, if the hardware, if they can run the games 100% identical, unlike the Xbox, like you're literally paying $100 for a disc drive. You're paying $100 for the ability to buy disc-based physical PS5 games, and maybe they haven't even confirmed this, but maybe disc-based physical versions of PS4 games, and probably not even PS3, PS2, and PS1 games.
No, they're not doing a thing with that.
So. Yeah, they're not going that far.
They don't care.
They haven't said 100%, but yeah, it definitely seems like they don't want to do that, which seems crazy to me because PS1 emulators have been amazing for like 20 years now. PS2 emulators are great as of today, and all the licensing would be like, who cares? We are Sony. We don't have to pay anything, so just put your disc in and it works. Yeah. What are they losing? What are they losing when they allow authenticated discs being put into their system and just working? How much expense is on their end?
They're losing that focus on newer games. That's it. I don't know.
I mean, I get like selling them online on their store. That's great. That could also be an option.
Yeah.
Further opportunity for revenue. But just saying, if you have an original PS1 disc, an original PS2 disc, even if you just say, PS3, maybe not right now because the emulation's not perfect and whatever. What's the harm in just saying we allowed a little bit of software to basically perfectly emulate and even play better in higher resolution than it was originally capable of a PS1 disc and PS2? What are they losing by allowing that on a version that has a physical disc drive?
Really nothing.
That's what I don't. I mean, I know Xbox has got their own thing, and it's all about licensing. No matter what, put the disc in, it pulls from the license on the thing, and you're actually downloading an original Xbox game on a Xbox One X. You're not copying it from the disc that you've put in. That's just your license key. But if they can verify, just like all the other systems did, to say that's an original disc, we see it's not a CDR, it's not a DVD-R, you haven't copied it, you're not bootlegging anything.
Not yet.
What are they losing by allowing that? I mean, the PS2 20 years ago proved that just a tiny piece of physical hardware that they use as a sound chip for a PS2 and was the CPU of a PS1 included on the system, you can play PS1 games perfectly. Nowadays, that's like pennies. That's nothing. It's all software, and you can have it run even better than it did in 1995 or even in 2001 when the 2000 when the PS2 launched. Run even better than that. And they're just like, no, we don't want to do it for whatever reason.
I mean, it has to. I mean, it's money. I can't think of any other reason than it's somebody.
It could be that. It also could be the reasoning that At Games always used for why they never really wanted to have a cartridge slot for their Atari systems, because they were like, we don't want to deal with people complaining that their weird, Chase the Chuck Wagon cartridge didn't work because that was a mail order only game, and we didn't test for that because we didn't have one. It doesn't work. So they're like so risk avert that they're like, just forget it. Don't do it at all. Make sure it only officially plays the games that are included.
Well, there are a lot of PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games, so the effort to thoroughly test all of that is not, that's non-trivial,
Yes, I get that too. But even if they just selected,
enthusiastic
50,
fans,
100, 300 of the most popular PlayStation 1, PS2 games, whatever it is, they say, we don't know if this is going to work. I mean, the fact that, I've put money down on this, may have never mentioned it on the show before, but like the Polymega, whether it's actually going to come out when they say it's going to come out on November 15th or not, which is at least 3 days later than both of these brand new consoles, which is a little crazy. But
not the best timing, but
they put enough hardware out there to say to me
it's real
that I can believe that it's going to come out.
Yeah,
but
they sent us.
They are doing okay. I'll gladly take that and put up a video if I have to. The fact that they can take and let enough people like help them test, but for a few years, they're talking about PlayStation 1, Saturn, Sega CD, TurboGrafx CD, and all of the other iterations of that, and then the cartridge modules for NES, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, and the TurboGrafx chips. That's what they've committed to put out so far. Oh, and the Neo Geo CD as well. Like, we're talking thousands, multiples of thousands of games, and they're like, we can do this. We are charging basically as much as a next generation console to do this. More so if you're including all of the modules. So yes, Sony can figure out a way to say this is possible and let people put in their discs and play the way that Microsoft is doing with a select number. I'm not, I get it. There are hundreds of original Xbox and 360 games that still do not work and never will. And so be it.
Yeah, some due to licensing. Yeah,
some due to licensing, and some because they're like, I don't care,
Yeah.
Some random game that only 10 people in the world love. It's like, shut up. We're not going to bring that over.
Whatever, Barbie's Horse Adventures, or the fact that Blinx 3 was never made,
with good reason.
Why not? They could have turned it super gritty and have it be like, Blinx 3, the Time Murderer, where he literally murders time. Right? I always thought that'd be a great idea for people who age through and be like, oh, Blinx, that's so cute. It's a cat with a broom. And then it was like, oh, it's a cat with a gun. And now it's just like, it's a cat that can destroy time itself. I don't know why they abandoned that, because it's like it started off as, this is dumb,
but it uses the hard drive on the original Xbox. That's why it's cool.
And now it's like it's come full circle to the point where people are joking with Phil Spencer, be like, "Hey, you gonna bring back Blinx?" And he's like, "No." But it's like, come on, you can do this. You can do this. You can totally reboot Blinx the Time Sweeper
Voodoo
as
Vince is out.
Just anything, They could make it happen, and it could be something very silly and fun, but they don't want to do it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
If the financials say that's a horrific idea, don't do it. I mean, I can't really argue against that either, but like me personally, I think the idea of either a Blinx 3 or a Blinx complete reboot that involves like super gritty, insane nonsense. I feel like I could possibly pay close to full price money for something that stupid. I'm still not going to give him $70. That's insane.
Yeah. So, all right. So, what have you been playing, Mike?
All right, I'm going to go through these incredibly fast. Control, the Ultimate Edition came out. I decided that circumventing all of the controversy with the console versions was going to be the way to go. I just picked up the Steam version of it.
Okay. Makes sense.
Problem is, I don't think the game's as fun as people have been talking about for over a year now. Like, I played
how far are you?
I got the 10-inch floppy disk.
Okay.
So I've got, the adjoining. I'm trying not to spoil anything for people that haven't played it.
I know.
But like the ability that comes with that, and it was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I don't really like fighting these random sort of cops. I don't know. I hope it gets better. I'm gonna put more time into it. I'm not quitting. I am definitely.
I don't know what to.
I'm interested.
I don't know what to
say.
More. Yeah.
I beat the first boss, and I don't know. I'm liking it. I don't know.
Okay, so you just started to. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it's. I will say, like, I didn't go crazy over it like a lot of people did, or I should say a lot of other people did, since the game apparently didn't sell that much, even though it got a lot of praise. But like just overall, the overall package was pretty solid to me.
Yeah, I mean, I get there are things that I like, but it's also like if I don't feel like reading a whole lot of text about things that I'm picking up, it's like those can be interesting.
That's my problem. I don't know. I know I should pay attention to the story, but I'm just not. And I know if I'm not gonna do that, then it's like, why play this game?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I mean, you can still get enjoyment without it, but it all the clues just add on to the game. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, and I definitely I can see
you
that.
Have to be into that though. Mm-hmm.
Like if you took away all of the story and all of the little like background things to read, and you just said it's just the gameplay, I'd be like, I don't want to play this anymore. This is like the gameplay itself does not carry that game. It's fine. It's not terrible. It's not even bad. It's just it's there. It's fine. But it's whatever they bring along with it to make it interesting. And at least so far, it's still just, huh? Why? That's a weird thing to say or do, or why does this lady remind me of the first version of Sonic in the Sonic movie? Like, I don't need to see down her throat and all of her teeth and everything every time she opens her mouth. This is weirding me out. Like that part. I've already forgotten her character name, but like, yeah, the whole problem people focused on with the first like abandoned version of Sonic was like, oh, look at all those weird human teeth that they're highlighting. I'm like, I don't need to see this lady's teeth so much. And it's not the main character; it's this other lady that's. I
don't want to. Yeah, even say to give stuff away.
Like, it was so distracting the whole time she's talking. I'm like staring at her teeth and her mouth going like, why are you showing me all this? And then I realized I don't know what she just said in the last 2 minutes.
Because you're focusing on it.
That's
on a bad animation of your mouth and teeth.
Yeah, and related to that,
T is for her tooth-filled mouth.
The whole like weird murmur that seems to be going on, at least to the point of the game I played so far, it's like it's so like low key irritating that it makes me tune everything out. Like it's like I don't want to listen to this like really close to English words, but somehow just shy of it to make sentences.
Not quite.
Like I'm tuning out all of the audio, and it makes me feel like I'm losing out on what could be an enjoyable experience. But I hope I get there. I still hope that, you know, another couple hours or whatever I put into it, I'll get to a point where I feel comfortable and I'm like, oh, I want to see what the next thing is that they're showing me based on what I'm looking at right now. And so far, I just haven't got there yet. But yeah, we'll see. Next thing is I finally got around to trying out the Devolverland Expo free game that they put out.
I played it. Yeah, I didn't finish it, but I came close.
I hate it.
Okay, I was waiting to see what.
And the problem is, if it was cuter, if it was funnier, if it poked a little bit more fun, but was more entertaining. I'm like, as soon as they're like, oh, there's these floating security guards out that you have to occasionally fire a t-shirt gun to knock them out. I'm like, this sucks. Like, this is an advertising tool.
Yeah,
this is a thing that's supposed to be a little bit funny. You know, they're poking fun at, you know, the layout of whatever it is, but it's ultimately, we want you to watch these advertisement videos for these upcoming games that at this point now, some of which have already been released. So it's like, oh, okay. I get to the end and the boss was so difficult that after the 5th try, I was just like, forget it. Back to the dashboard, the you know, Windows thing, and I deleted the game. I was like, I am never doing this again. I don't want to go through that awful long boss experience one more time, because that's like, I'll get 80% of the way through defeating the boss and then I'll die and I got to start over. All this to watch another stupid ad.
So you were not a fan?
No. Okay. I was like, I get it. I appreciate what they tried to do, but ultimately, screw that piece of software. Like, I wish that they had just made it simpler. Like, it could have been fun. It could have been like wander around and, you know, pick stuff up and have it say something entertaining. I don't need it to be this stupid battle and holding down the click the left stick to run. Any game that makes me hold the click down on the analog stick is like, I'm an old man. My hands can't handle this anymore. Games don't normally do that. You click it down and you just continue to push forward and you continue to run. I don't think I've played a game since Bad Company 1 where I had to hold down the left click stick to continue to run. Like, all right, I'm complaining incessantly about something that doesn't mean anything.
I thought it was unique. I thought they put like a lot of work into what really could have just been, hey, here's some trailers. So, but I understand what you're saying.
I mean, I do appreciate, I don't want to misconstrue this. I appreciate the fact that they put out something that was entertaining in lieu of an E3 that they couldn't actually have.
But in all fairness, that doesn't make it good just because they put forth
it doesn't make it good.
One does not assume the other.
I wish that they had just made it very simple. If they want fail states where you just go, oh, you fell off of a cliff, try again or something, fine. But don't give me combat in a thing where the only goal of the game is to watch advertisements. Like, come on.
It's meta.
I was like, at some point, if the final video is something, I'll just go to YouTube. Yeah. All right. And the last thing real quick is playing around on the arcade. I found a game called Biomechanical Toy. Never heard of this before. It reminded me a lot of Zool. You should remember that weird like ninja game, Zool.
Oh, very European platformer, crap everywhere and weird backgrounds and stuff. Yeah.
It was basically that with machine guns.
Okay, I'm listening.
And a lot of slowdown, at least on my Xbox. Whether the original arcade had all that slowdown or not, I'm not sure. I did seek out one YouTube video, but I didn't watch it for more than a couple of minutes because I was like, I've already seen this. But
just play Kart. That's all.
It wasn't bad. At least what I played, it seemed relatively fair for an arcade game.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas most arcade games are like, we want you to die and have your quarter be gone in ideally 30 to 45 seconds.
No progress is made. Like, no.
This was a game where I'm like, on a quarter, I could probably beat a level. It seemed, I was like, okay, this isn't bad. You're a guy running around with an Uzi with limited ammo, but not like super limited. It was like clearly the numbers are going down, but you'll probably have enough ammo to get through what you need. And you can pick up more ammo as you go. And you're like, why it's called biomechanical toy. It's like, I guess you're shooting other toys.
Yeah, that's a weird looking game.
You seem to be a guy wearing a black leather jacket, just running around shooting things. I don't know. It came out in '95, so it's not like I'm trying to think like what was popular at the time. It's like, well, T2 was 3 years old at that point, so
it was still popular though.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the guy kind of looks a little bit like Terminator or like the guy from Chameleon Kid or something. I don't know. But it was a game I played recently, and I figured I'll bring it up. Not that anybody can go out and buy it or anything, but, if you have MAME,
go for it.
Yeah, it's not probably all that hard to get a ROM for it. So, anyway, I feel like I've lost my mind enough already. So, what have you been playing, Aaron?
So I mentioned I did a couple of interviews for PAX Online. This is actually the demo out of 30XX, sequel to 20XX. Much more pixelated this time. So yeah, it's quite good. I mean, I like 20XX as well, but 30XX definitely has a much crisper.
20XX was like what do they call it?
It's a roguelike.
The something generated levels.
Oh, random. I forgot to ask that.
Not random. What's the term they use? Like procedurally generated.
That's the one question I did not ask. Oh,
does 30XX have that?
I should have asked the question.
Oh, okay. It wasn't abundantly obvious from how you played.
I just didn't think about it. I don't know why. Because the developer, he's flying to the demo. I'm asking a ton of things that seem relevant, but that's a pretty core thing. I just didn't think about it. That's wow. So yeah, I can find out for you.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's pretty cool. Ghost Runner, interviewed the guys who are making Ghost Runner. Seems pretty cool. The parkour. More about the parkour and figuring out the puzzle aspect of the action and the action itself. He said all the enemies are pretty much one-hit kills, except for some bosses. But you also die with one hit. So kind of looks like a parkour game in like a Blade Runner-ish kind of world. You're up in these high rises and skyscrapers and stuff. A lot of neon lights and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I think there's a public beta coming out towards the end of the month on PC. So, in terms of some analog games, played The Crew with my family. That is a trick-taking game where imagine like if Spades was like co-op. Like you're all trying to accomplish a mission. It's like a mission could be like 3 random cards come out. Everybody takes one, and you have to win the trick with that card in it. Everybody has to like basically win the card that's in front of them, that's like assigned to them, or that they felt that they could, to collectively win. But you can't talk. You can't say like, "Well, I have a 9, so I can get the 8." You have to just
okay.
You can like put a card down and like place a communication token on it. Like if you put it at the top of the card, it means that's the highest card I have in that color. The center of the card means that's the only card I have of this color. If you put it at the bottom, it means that's the lowest card I have of that color. So there are ways to communicate, but like they wrote up, the whole premise is like you're trying to discover a ninth planet, and think about that for a second. But you're trying to discover a ninth planet because at one point we had one, but and you know communication is limited. So like the people who wrote it, like they wrote like 50 missions that you do, and it's like a paragraph description for a little color for like each one. It's pretty neat because it goes from like dead simple to like you could have multiple cards in front of you that you have to win the tricks for those cards. Otherwise, you fail the mission, start over again.
So, do you need anything proprietary? Or you can just play this as a standard deck.
Oh no, you cannot. There's 4 suits. It's like 4 colors, and then like a rocket. Like there's 4 colors of numbers 1 through 9, and there's like 4 rocket cards. So, the 4th rocket card that's like the most powerful card. So it's 4, 3, 2, 1. Those cards can beat any. They can kind of like beat any other card, and if you have the 4th one, you are the commander, and you are sort of responsible for like taking the first mission, and then sort of going clockwise. Other people can take a mission off. They think they can. They look at their cards, and you know if you have to win the trick with the 6 yellow in it, if you have the 7, 8, 9 of yellow, you probably should take that card. But you can't communicate. You can't just say that. You just take it in front of you, and then everybody has to be paying attention to realize, like, well, because one mission is like, you have to win a trick with a 1. That's the lowest card of all. So you have to be paying attention to see, like, well, let me make sure that I put a different color out than the one that somebody started off this trick with so that I can make sure they win.
Now that I hear you saying things like yellow and card number 1, I'm like, oh yeah, no, and I would have never asked if that's a standard deck.
No, it's not. But the components are fairly simple. But it is not a standard deck. But it's called the Crew. It actually won, I think, the Spiel des Jahres, which is the game of the year in Germany.
Okay.
I don't know. It's fun. My family didn't really like it at all, so I have to find someone else to play with. But
it did sound interesting enough for me to ask some questions. So
there is a 2-player variant in which you can kind of control an AI player's cards. So you kind of see not all of their cards, but like half of their cards. You can kind of play for them. So it's a 2-player variant. So that helps. You all know the Hello Neighbor games. You've heard of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The digital versions, yes.
Yes. So there's a Secret Neighbor game, which is a multiplayer, online multiplayer game that my middle child loves that one, so she's pretty good at it. But anyway, they made a card game for it called the Secret Neighbor. It's like Secret Neighbor party game. Yeah. So it's like a social. You all ever play Werewolf or Mafia or something like that? Social deception games where people have hidden roles. So it kind of works that way where 3 people, like some people are neighbors, somebody's a secret neighbor, and everybody else is one of the kids, and you're trying to get one of the keys. So you're basically trying to collect 3 of any item to use it, which could like let you look at someone else's hand, steal a card, make somebody get rid of their hand, things like that. So we played it. If you never played one of those games where like one thing is so powerful, no one focuses on anything else.
Yeah,
that's what happens. So like there's a magnet. It's thematic with the game. So if you have the magnet, you can either take a key from the middle of the table, or if somebody else has a key, you can steal it from them. So everybody was so focused on the magnet, that nothing else had value. So it's weird because everybody, the instructions say like you don't have to discard your cards at the end of a round. You can keep them. It's all either you keep all of them or you keep none of them. So I felt like if we just house rules it to say like, no, you have to like refresh, that would mix the cards up enough to me to potentially mitigate the issue of like everybody's like, well, if I have one magnet, I'm keeping it. I'm never giving it up. Nothing. Unless I'm sure like another player is also on my team, then I might try to get it to them if they have 2 magnets, and that way they can play it. Because you vote. Somebody gets a key, people can say I nominate myself, nominate somebody else. I second it. You vote whether or not the person uses the key. If it's a kid, they use a key. They unlock the door, and then the kids win. If it's the neighbor, they refuse to unlock the door, and then they're going to flip over the car and say, I'm the neighbor, we win. But the neighbors, but the thing is, the regular neighbors know who the secret neighbor is, but the secret neighbor does not know who the regular neighbors are. So, people close their eyes. If you're the secret neighbor, put your thumb up. If you're a regular neighbor, open your eyes. So you see each other and who the secret person is. So, I don't know. It was fun. I just feel like some small tweaks could have made it a little bit different. I'll move through this quickly. So I got a demo copy of a game called a prototype of a game called Hoop Gods, which is made by Board Game Brothers. They also made a game called Rap Gods, which is over on the shelf over there. Very fun game. So this is their next effort coming to Kickstarter. So I'm really looking forward to playing it. It's a one-on-one basketball game, sort of grid hex, looks like a hex grid based. There's dice, there's power ups. So it seems pretty fun. So I'm looking forward to checking this one out this weekend. So that's the analog stuff that I played. In terms of digital stuff, I played Spinch on Steam. It's on the Switch platformer. Got like this little white ball character, very psychedelic colors all around. It's just fun. I don't know. It's just a really fun platformer. And one level reminded me of the level in Battletoads where you're almost always dying, but the original Battletoads, not the snakes. The level where something else is chasing you through like a corridor or something like that. I mean, I'm confusing like the level.
You're talking about the Nintendo game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, not the arcade, right?
No, not the arcade. But anyway, it reminded me of the original Battletoads. So, played some Streets of Rage 4. Remember, everybody was so excited about Streets of Rage 4, and then it came out, and people were like, "It's out. Let's stop talking about it."
I like it. I mean, it got good feedback. I just think that a lot of people just moved on quickly from it.
It's a beat 'em up.
The first week or so.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, you can't expect that much from it.
You're not going to hang off for that long.
Doesn't have much staying power.
If you've been working on the same beat 'em up day in and day out for like 6 months, you're probably doing it very terribly.
But, yeah, exactly.
So I actually played that on I have a Fire tablet, so I sideloaded Google Play onto it, obviously, and I'm running I can do console streaming, Game Pass, all that stuff on. Well, not Game Pass, xCloud stuff. So I was playing it on there instead of just streaming it from my console. I normally just stream from the console. I just prefer that. Plus, the library is bigger. It's my console.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's funny that it played fine, but some levels it would I don't know if it was, I don't know if something issue with packets, but it would just sometimes my character would be in another level. It would just flash a different environment for a second, and then it would go right back to where it was. I was like,
that's strange.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was. Oh. Yeah, but it worked. It didn't happen at a horrible time, but it was kind of weird. Is it
weird glitch?
Yeah. But it is.
Yeah, that's strange.
It is in beta though, right? Still, technically. Sort of beta. I don't know.
It's weird because did you play it today or sometime this week?
It was in the last couple of days.
Okay, then technically that was still beta.
Oh, because the 15th yesterday is when it went. Okay.
Yeah, then that's when it was kind of official. They officially pushed it. Yeah, I'm bummed out because I'm a iOS user and I wanted to at least try it out. But
my recommendation to you is just pick up one of those $50.
Yeah, I was gonna
Amazon tablets.
A cheap Amazon tablet or something like that. Yeah, cheap Galaxy maybe.
Sideload Google Play.
I'll probably do it once. Well, we'll see how that goes too. But once things get to normal and I travel more, because my Switch has pretty much been it might as well be a Nintendo box. Because I haven't been out with it. I haven't been out, period, in a while in terms of going out somewhere that's a good 15 minutes or so away from where I live. It's just been weird because due to that's been the main reason why I haven't used my Switch as much as I normally did during previous years. I mean, now I just bought Nintendo games when, if it was a normal year, I'll be buying some of the multi-plat that I play on Xbox or PS4 on my Switch to have that on the go.
But you don't need to have it on the go, so.
Yeah, exactly. It's on the go is dead right now, so what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
He'll be back.
Yeah, well, yeah. Just have to see how long. Yeah.
Was it? I can't think of the developers in Quantum Astrophysicist. Anyway, they released it. They have a game called Deleveled. It's a very, graphically it's a game where, like, you're controlling like two boxes on either side of like a level, and you can make them both jump at the same time. But of course, the obstacles they face are different to like unlock different switches and doors and things. It's pretty neat. I like it. So I'm enjoying that. Here's a weird one. This game called Tamarin. It came out on Steam.
I read about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So it came out on Steam and PS4. They sent me. I've been, it's been on my radar for a while, but I didn't pay that much attention to it. So I didn't realize how the people who worked on Jet Force Gemini, some of them were on the development team for it. Yep. So I'm just thinking, because everything I saw initially was just the straight platforming levels. I love platformers, straight platformer. Let's go. And then the week before it came out, like, there's a Jet Force Gemini kind of thing, because they have the bugs with the ants and stuff with guns and everything else, like Jet Force Gemini. And I'm playing it, and it's like the beginning is fine as just a regular platformer, but then like they take you, but then like you get a gun. It's like this little furry Tamarin. You're jumping around collecting crap, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's a gun. Why are you giving me a gun? And it just feels weird. Like the shooting stuff, I don't really like it. Like the platforming is cool for the shooting part. Like when you get to like this, I'm just like, why? It just feels so out of place.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm gonna keep, I'm gonna keep playing it, but I was just like, I don't know about this one. Playing some Hotshot racing on Xbox One. It's on the Switch, PS4.
That looks good. I'm into arcade racers. I haven't played it though. Is it on Game Pass?
I don't know. I don't know if it is.
Okay.
I'll check. Did you play Horizon?
Oh yeah, Horizon Chase. I think it was called.
I really like that game. This one has a little more going on than Horizon Chase.
Okay.
But I feel like if I'm in the last the last lap of a race, I always like mess up on the last turn, and the AI inevitably always beats me, and it's just like, what can I do to get over this hurdle? It just happens like every time. It's frustrating. So.
But yeah, I definitely check it out. I mean, I love racers, so yeah. And I want more like arcade pick up and play racers, because I mean, you still have a decent amount of them now, but it's not nearly as many as there were like 10 plus years ago. Yeah, that genre kind of faded away a bit. Yeah,
you are a big racing fan. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I love them.
I think you'll like this game.
Okay.
I think you'll probably be good at it. Like where I fail, you'll just drift through and you'll be good.
Okay, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Let me know how it goes if you play it.
All right.
Super Punch Patrol. So did you ever play Mechtermination Force on the Switch?
Mm-mm.
You're fighting like giant robots. Very fun game. I really enjoyed that game. So the developer, he kind of just said like, hey, I've been sitting in the house, so I made this game.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a beat 'em up where like, you ever watch old Police Academy movies?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Remember how certain characters always go to that Blue Oyster, that club, that gay bar that they would always end up in sometimes? Most of the characters, people you're like fighting, look like them from like a lot of the scenes from the Blue Oyster. Which is fun. It's just fun. I'm thinking to myself like, this is like the Police Academy thing. Anyway, it's a beat 'em up. So I keep losing on the first level boss, because like you beat up all these people, and of course they have like a guy who's like really big, who's like not breathing fire, but like you can tell that they're like some Streets of Rage homages and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but it's fun. It's cool. It's like $5. So I get to the end of the level, you see like these shark fins. You're like in a sewer. You see these shark fins in the background of the water. And then like this guy comes out like a scuba diver, which is like ballet dancing. He just starts twirling around and just kicks you, but you can't really dodge it. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do there. I like it. It's fun. I don't know if you remember the game Hotel Dusk for the DS. It has that.
Yeah, I didn't have a DS during its time.
Oh,
during its heyday. Yeah.
It has that kind of like. Okay, here's one. You've seen the video for Take On Me before?
Yeah, of course.
So it looks like that.
Okay.
That's how the game looks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
So it has a very unique look to it. Even I mean, it's not. It's a beat 'em up, so it's not like it's reinventing the wheel, but it is. It is fun.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds cool.
I'm playing. There's a board game called Root, and they made a digital version of it. So I'm going through the tutorial on that. Having not played the actual board game, I'm doing the tutorial because I don't really know what I'm doing. So, but I like the fact that there's like 5 different ones. So it's not just like, here's the basics. You do these 3 things and do them again and you win. Like, it's really taking you through, like, and showing you, like, these are the mechanics and stuff. So I hope that I can get more into that one. Playing a game called Bullets Per Minute on PC.
I've heard of that. I haven't played it though, but it looks interesting.
It did to me too, and it still could be, but I'm not really seeing how shooting and reloading on the beat are. It's when you do it, it's helpful, but it doesn't feel like the game allows me to do it consistently.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It's
like your aim is trash, those, but if you're on beat,
like situations that sound like better on paper than it really is in game.
But if you're on beat, like your aim is good, it's like, why would that make a difference?
Yeah, and you still control your aim, as normal, right?
Okay. You do.
Yeah, that is weird. Then that would be frustrating to me. Then if I still had to, like focus on being on beat. For my aiming to improve, if my aiming is already accurate already.
I'm like point blank range at like this huge crab thing, but I'm not really hitting it because
I didn't even like read too much into it, but I thought that if you shot on beat of the music that would cause more damage. Is that how it works or no?
It might be more damage, but to me it feels like
because that would make sense to me.
You're not really shooting them at all,
but I'm not sure.
Unless you're on beat, but I could be wrong.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a game called Going Under on this. I'm playing it on the Switch, but I think it's on other things too. You're like an intern at like this juicing company, but like but it's a roguelike, so your overall objective is like the guy just says, "Hey, go kill a monster." Like, okay, so you jump down like this chute into like you do a run. And then it has it's a cartoony look, but everything has like a fuzziness to it. It's weird, but I like it.
Okay.
There's tons of things like this. You can pick up like everything. And everything has a different weight. Like if you pick up like a dolly, she'll like drag it behind her because it's a dolly. So it's a little heavy and it's not handheld. But if you pick up like a ping pong paddle, every item you pick up has a little number to show you, like, I guess for like how much damage it does. You can pick up ping pong paddles, like keyboard. A keyboard is a great weapon, by the way. You can just smack the crap. You're just beating up all these creatures, and there's like shops you can go to buy more items. That's a roguelike. So you're this. I don't know what the permanence of some items are, because it feels like when you die, you kind of just lose everything. But I don't know. I like it. It seems pretty neat. Just 2 more. Journey to Broken Circle. You're like a white Pac-Man with like no legs. It's a platformer. Really funny writing, and you're looking for your missing piece. I'm assuming this has been greatly influenced by Shel Silverstein's The Missing Piece, but I could be wrong. Not greatly, but somewhat. So you're like a little, circle with a piece missing, looking for your missing, looking to, you want to be whole. And it's funny. I like the writing is good. Platforming is pretty neat as well. And then I've been playing a lot of New Mario Brothers U on the Switch for some reason. Don't ask me why. I beat. Have you beaten that game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you play it? Are you trying to find all 3 coins when you go through?
Oh, it's weird because. Like I have that in mind when I go on a level, but if I get a coin and I realize that it's the second coin, then I just like, okay, screw it.
I'm the same way. It's just like, oh, forget it. I'm done.
Yeah.
It's a different game when you play that way. When you go in intentionally saying, it's same thing in any of them really, but like that's how I've been playing.
Yeah, so there's a lot of platformers there.
I'm playing 3D Mario Land on here.
Nice.
And when you go in,
that was a good game, and it's sad that a lot of people probably won't play it
because it's on 3DS.
It's tied to 3DS. Yeah.
It's so good though.
It was a good game. I liked it a whole lot.
So I've been playing New Mario Brothers U on the Switch, like with the goal in mind of I'm gonna get these 3 coins, and they are devious sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like you have to get, Power Star, and because you can jump further, you can jump on these enemies, and it's crazy. So yeah, so that's stuff I've been playing, which is why I've been talking for a long time. So play a lot of games. So yeah. All right, we talked a lot about the PS5 stuff, kind of up front. Is there anything else that we wanted that we missed with it?
Did we talk about how like a decent amount of their games were on PS4 too, and they like kind of announced that today?
Like stealthily.
Did we talk about that before the show or during the show?
See, I couldn't finish it, so I started it and I missed. I had an appointment.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't during the show, but they after the show they released like blogs about the games, and like a blog, like certain blogs are like, okay, this is on PS4 too, and this will be on PS4 too, and the 2 big ones, at least to me, were Spider-Man and Horizon, the sequel Horizon, the sequel of Horizon, I should say, excuse me. Because those 2 games, like they were always pushed alongside of PS4 as being like really next gen experiences. Like I remember watching the first PS5 event, the reveal event, and those games were the highlight to me that stuck out. And you hear a lot about PS5 and how they still believe in generations, and every now and then you could tell that a certain line that they stated in one of their PR messages was like kind of a dig at Xbox for still doing cross-gen games. It's like, oh, you don't want to go over there. This is true power here at PS5. This is true generational power. And then just out of nowhere, you say, hey guys, this has come out to the PS4 too. And it's like, so what in the world was all that PR messaging about?
That's all it was.
So weird. Yeah. It's so weird. And it's like, and not to talk about console wars, but so many people that were pumped for PS5, like they used that cross-generational difference at the time, at least what we thought would be a cross-generational difference. They used that against the Xbox, saying, why should I buy Xbox if I can play these games on my old console? PS5 is going to be new. And now all of a sudden, in September, they just say, oh, hey guys, yeah, this is coming out on PS4 too. And it's just so weird, because it's like, I'm completely fine with cross-generational games, especially now due to games being so big budget, and these games need as many users as possible in order for the games to have sequels.
You can't ignore 100 million units out there.
Exactly.
There's no way.
You can't have a sequel to a new IP or a newer IP if you're only putting that on a console that's expensive and only has like under 4 million users. Like it's just not possible.
No,
and it plays a role in why certain games like Sunset Overdrive, I love that game, but that game, due to it coming out so early in the Xbox One's life, which was a time in which the Xbox One didn't really do well, like that played a big role in that game never having a sequel, even though I love that game and I would have loved to see a sequel.
Sony owns that IP now, don't they?
Well, yeah, they own Insomniac, so technically, yeah, it's theirs. Yeah, it's funny. But what I was gonna say is that just why weren't they honest about these cross-generational games in the beginning? Like, why did they try to like push them out to be PS5 next-gen experiences when they were cross-gen to begin with, and they knew it for months? So it just rubs me like a really wrong way. Like I'm still pumped to play the games, but it's just like it really brought me down because it's just so wrong to me. It's like you push the PS5 in this way for so long just to then pretty much say that you have as many, if not more, cross-generational games that Xbox has.
It's a marketing thing.
Yeah.
And it also makes me think about how will these games run on a base PS4?
Yeah, that too. I mean, they got to run.
Are they really making this for 3 different? Well, I guess they have to. So
yeah, I mean, these games, like I think they'll look pretty good on PS4 Pro. It's just the base PS4 though is a different story. Yeah.
Yeah. We shall see.
So yeah, and you have that, and you add it on to the pre-order mess that we talked about earlier, and it's just like I'm still pumped for the system, but it's just now it like really brought me down, and it's weird because I expected this to be the day in which I was like set on excuse me. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I thought this would be a day in which I was, really set to be pumped for the PS5 launch. And if anything, this hurt my excitement more than increase it or helped it, because it's just like so many details were just not stated by Sony, and they were stated by them until, right at the last minute.
Oh, by the way.
And it's just like, yeah, it's just like, it's obvious that you're holding this stuff back because you wanted to get a certain perception about the PS5. And yeah, it just rubs me the wrong way. I don't like it when they play games like that, especially when you have your biggest fans say, I want the PS5 to do this, and then the PS5 is doing the complete opposite of that. And then, and what annoys me too, and it shouldn't annoy me because I don't know these people for the most part, but what annoys me is seeing fans that criticize Xbox due to their cross-generational strategy, but now that Sony is doing it, like they don't say anything. Like they're just with it.
Same for the PC stuff. It's like putting their games on PC. Well, now
it's like that's how you should have been all along. It's just that at the same time, it's like that. It's just so hypocritical to me. It's like you wasted all that time criticizing the competition just to now be fine with it. It's so silly.
Well, it's bias. I mean, we all have.
Yeah,
our own, but it is
annoying.
But it's just like
I've never been that way when it comes to video games. Like I dish it out for anybody.
Like I have
play the role in why people feel I'm like, there's been multiple times in which I've been called a fanboy for all three companies at different times.
I guess it means you're doing it right.
What I said and what I didn't say. True, exactly. So. But yeah, it just annoys me. So just getting through, I guess, this month and getting closer to launch will make things better for me. But overall, I've kind of felt iffy after today due to just the way Sony held back information for so long.
Knowing good and well.
Exactly. Yeah, knowing good and well you're doing this. Look at Xbox over there.
A hard rocking guy said in the chat, he said Ouya is greater than everything. I'm like, I remember I kickstarted Ouya. I remember it came in. I was hyped.
You did? Okay.
And I got the controller. I was
interested in it. I was like, this might have a chance.
I got two of those controllers. I was like, why did I get an extra one? This is trash. It's complete trash. Yeah. We really wanted a new system back in, I guess 2013.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we were dying.
We wanted anything.
That was like, yeah, we were like 6-7 years without a new console.
Almost 8 years.
And it's like you could tell by the way the games looked at the time that it was time for new consoles. So we were so hungry at the time. Yeah, so hungry for new consoles.
Ouya. Oh man.
Yeah, they had those weird Ren and Stimpy commercials, like kind of 90s gross out humor.
Yeah.
Type of advertising. Yeah, it was so weird.
It's a different time.
Yeah.
And I guess we need to wrap up. I was just going to mention there was some controversy over, whatever. I guess the Series S is going to be running the Xbox One S back compat instead of...
Yeah.
Which it makes sense. It's just...
It makes sense, yeah. But at the same time, I understand why
this
people...
is new hardware.
Kind of...
It's like...
Yeah, it kind of expected like Xbox One X because it's like, okay, this is a model that's coming after...
Yeah.
The Xbox One X, so it should be able to run these backwards compatible games in Xbox One settings, Xbox One X settings. So I kind of understand that, but at the same time, if it did run those backwards compatible games in Xbox One X settings, then some of those games would look better than Xbox Series S games. Because it's like of those games, some of those, some Xbox One X games are 4K.
4K, and that's not 1440p.
But it's 30 frames per second. So it's like, okay, you have this 4K 30 frames per second game versus 1080p, even though the frame rate's double. it's like, kind of like, okay, older game, but it still looks better than the new games that you're trying to push.
It just feels
especially for
weird.
$70. Yeah.
It's
but
like,
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But when you just think of it as, okay, S is 1080p, X is 4K, that's when everything becomes clear and easy to understand across the board. It's just that the way that Microsoft named these consoles is just really poor.
It was not the best.
It wasn't. Yeah.
It's not like it's insurmountable, but it's...
Yeah, it's not like,
it's confusing.
It's not like it's impossible to understand. It's just like it's not convenient when you talk about the systems, because every now and then you got to catch yourself because you want to say Xbox, Series S, but you say Xbox One S, and it's like that can shift the conversation about Xbox as a whole into something else that you didn't intend. And then you're like, okay, hold up. I said Xbox One S, didn't I? Okay, yeah, I meant Xbox Series S. I'm sorry. Then you have to go all the way back to the conversation where it started from. And it's going to be messy for at least another year or two.
They really should have just done.
But once they phase out the Xbox One S, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it will ultimately. I just feel like in hindsight, they probably should have just gone with a number, but just skipped them. So just.
Oh yeah, I agree. Definitely.
They should have called the Xbox 360 just Xbox 3. Then they would have been fine. PS3, Xbox 3.
The reason why they called it Xbox 360 because it was like, okay, this is the second Xbox. We can't call it Xbox 2 because, and apparently they did a lot of research about this, and they're like, okay, Xbox 2 versus PS3. People are going to say that the PS3 is better because it's 3 versus 2.
Yeah, they would.
So that played a big role in why they named it Xbox 360.
Which was better than Xbox One.
Oh, yeah, please. Xbox 360, Xbox 360 was the best name for the console after the original. Yeah, Xbox One was stupid.
I don't know what they were thinking.
It's better to me than Xbox One, but it's still kind of silly because it's just like, okay, Series, it's like, nobody's going to call it Series. They're just going to call it Xbox.
Yeah, which is what they're going for anyway, I guess.
Yeah, so. and it's weird too because, you have some people saying that, okay, this is Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, and then you have other people from Xbox marketing team come in to say, oh, even though they're called this, we're just calling this generation Xbox. It's like what?
Like you're not helping yourself.
You're not. Yeah, exactly. You're just adding more confusion. But again, people will see it as Xbox S, Xbox X, and they'll see the different prices. They'll know the difference just from that, I believe, especially since the consoles look really different from each other.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so you can't get them confused. Yeah.
They look kind of, I don't know, PS5 is not to me, it's not an attractive system. It just looks like it's trying too hard.
PS5 looks so weird.
It's just
like they all look weird. PS5 looks the strangest, especially the disc drive edition. It's just you have that sleek design. Well, it's not really like sleek because it's really big and it's really thick.
It is,
especially compared to other consoles. But it's just like you have that, kind of I guess you call it concavity, and then all of a sudden you have that like little hump that looks like a pimple for the disc drive, and it's just like it's so ugly to me. Yeah,
it's not.
You have that smooth edge, and then you have that hump like a camel or something.
It's kind of
it doesn't look right to me. Yeah,
but I didn't think
it's what they had to do. Yeah, to cool it down. Then
I didn't think the PS4 was that great. I didn't think the whole slanted thing was looking great, but I don't really look at it.
Yeah, it looked kind of weird.
I barely look at it.
In hindsight, it's so much better because when you put it on like a shelf, it just looks like a straight box, pretty much, because you don't see the angle.
The power button and eject buttons.
Yeah,
are the dumbest.
I don't even mess with that. I just use the controller. I still would have a hard time.
Which one is? Yeah, this is power. Okay, yeah, no.
Especially and then the launch PS3 models, like they had those touch sensitivity buttons where like as long as you just hit it, it did the function. Like you didn't have to press down.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong because I had a PS4. I got it a little bit after launch. It was like 2 years or so after launch. But for some reason, I remember the glossy PS4 is having the touch sensitive buttons for some reason. I could be wrong, but either way, the power buttons are too hard to find. Yeah. Yeah, and then also I'm digital on PS4, so I don't even have to worry about that. It is a annoying button to find. even on the PS4 Pro too, it fits in. For some reason, they didn't want the buttons to stick out. They wanted them to be like a part of the console itself.
But you can barely see them though. It's like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I get it for design, but in terms of just functionality, it's a poor choice.
And then I forgot about this. It was actually Blue Man Rule on shout out to Larry on Twitter, who reminded me that you can use a DualShock 4 PS4 games on the PS5, but only PS5 games you have to be played with the DualShock 5.
Yeah.
Sure.
That even looks, and it's funny you brought that up because that even looks sillier now that we know that multiple PS5 games
are going to be on PS4
generational.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
what's the
so
point?
why won't it work?
Yeah, there's no real reason.
Silly.
So
it's real silly. It's like, I thought it was kind of silly, but then I was like, okay, if these games are only on PS5, then I understand. But now, like a game like Spider-Man, why can't I use my PS4 controller on that if the game's going to be out on PS4 anyway? Yeah, it's silly. It's real silly.
We just, I was gonna say the stream just got rated on and in a good way on Twitch.
Okay. Oh, okay. Good.
So
good.
Shout out to Panda Angel and Book of Nerds and Ruel, and there's a lot of people in here.
Okay.
I guess they wrapped up something and they jumped in here. I appreciate that. So.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, there's just so many emojis and icons and stuff in there. It's just like, wow. But Mike, are you still here? Or did you fall asleep? What happened to you, Mike? Oh, so
I'll hear him. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can go ahead and wrap up. But yeah, any shout outs, plugs, anything you want to mention on the way out?
I guess the only thing, or I should say, the only place you can follow what I'm doing is on my Twitter at bgamer90, and there you can see my videos that are coming soon. I do have a plan to put my videos on Twitter as well as YouTube, since it does seem like certain people only follow me on Twitter but not YouTube, and vice versa. So I'm planning on doing that more. So you'll see more videos just posted onto my Twitter feed instead of just links to YouTube. So I think that will at least make people more familiar with what I do and see me in a different angle instead of just a person that tweets a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good to have you back. We'd have some more videos to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm pumped. So I'm just want to get this stuff out because I'm the type of person in which, if I hold on to an idea, I need to get it done ASAP. Because if I hold on to it for too long, I miss certain details that I forget completely, and those details never come back to me. So I usually write stuff down a whole lot. I have like a sketchbook and just random notepads, but sometimes certain things just go missing and I forget about them. So yeah.
Not writing things down is often the bane of my existence, but yeah, it happens. Yeah. So yeah, when you start putting some stuff out there, I'll be more than happy to.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah.
And get bring it to folks' attention.
Yeah, just knowing that people still are asking me for stuff, it makes me feel good because it's I've been having multiple gaps due to just personal, mostly job reasons, but just knowing that people are still looking forward to what I put out means a lot to me, since I've personally been annoyed at the gaps, because I say doing this and then something happens that is completely out of my control, and then I have to focus on that for another 2 to 3 months, and it's just annoying at this point. So.
I understand.
Yeah.
All right. And also just doing it at the, as another generation transitions in is a good time.
Exactly. This is the perfect time. Yeah. Yep. Perfect time.
So if you want to start reviewing those, in Television, Amico games, that's.
My dad will like that. He was a big Intellivision fan. He'll talk to you for an hour about why Intellivision was better than Atari.
Yeah,
in his opinion.
It had more buttons.
More buttons.
That's
it
that's
had
subjective.
6 figures instead of dots. Yeah,
which is a big
improvement back then in the early '80s, right?
And did he have the pack?
I could actually see this baseball player run between the bases. It's not a dot.
That's something.
Looks like it's being like dragged by a mouse pointer.
Did he have the voice module thing as well?
Yeah, that was. I mean, even now that was still cool to me.
Yeah, back then that was dope.
Yeah, I mean back then it had to be mind blowing.
It was cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if Mike was here, he would say it's his normal thing he says on his way out. You know, donate blood. If you have pets, have them spayed or neutered. I normally say give another thank you to our guests. Thank you, Brad, for your time. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Yep.
Catching up. Thank you for the folks who are in the chat. Appreciate you being here. The people who listen. If you want to leave us feedback, you can always email us at podcast@GameEnthus.com. Leave us a voicemail at 202-573-7686. And that's it for me. And if Tiny was here, he would mention Extra Life, which is scrolling above at the top of the stream. We are still raising money for Tiny's raising money for CHOP, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Mike and I are raising money for Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. And there's a lot of people on the GameEnthus team, so if you go there, you can donate to any one of us, and we'll be very grateful and appreciative of it. So I think that's going to do it. Any final words, Brad, on our way out?
Stay safe. Wear a mask if you're going out in public, and just stay positive. Play some games. Stay positive, and just stay safe, and just take this weird time we're living in one day at a time. You know, don't focus too much on negative things. You know, focus on things that you can possibly do now when you have the time.
Agreed.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
All right. And we're out of here.
All right. Good night.
Well, this stream is... Oh.
All right. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Mike there, but, you know, things happen. So.
Yeah. Now, does it say, like, he's still, like, on? It's just that I think
he's still in the Zoom. I have no idea how.
Yeah, what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.